88 Films.
Hello. Welcome back.
Is he back?
Another episode of Store Credit. Sound the alarm.
We got the whole thing playing.
There you go. Lonnie's playing with the thing over there.
He's done it like a million times.
Yeah, he's done it too much. But yeah, today we have a special guest, good friend of ours, Mr. Sam.
What up?
What is going on, everybody? Happy Monday.
April Fools.
Yeah, I forgot it was April Fool's today.
Actually, we're not even filming, bro. We just wasted your time.
Oh, man.
Imagine.
The cameras are fake today.
I woke up this morning, I said, I'm not believing anything on social media today
Nah.
because it's April 1st, it's April Fool's, but a whole production April Fool's.
It would be crazy. Imagine not never airing this.
I don't know, man. That's a little...
Yeah, no, I'm kidding. But yeah, happy to have you here. How was your weekend?
Man, I'm happy to be here. Weekend was cool, man. A lot of nerdy stuff, Comic-Con stuff, church, jiu-jitsu, family time. So, yeah, it was cool.
Nice.
You?
I did not do anything but work and sleep and
Yeah.
clean. It's my life right now.
Hey, that's cool, man.
Yeah. So you're pretty much Q&A with you today.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Born and raised in LA.
Born in Inglewood.
Oh, nice.
Born in Inglewood, raised in South Central LA, borderline. So, yeah.
Nice. I think we met you. Well, I met you through Jason. I think that's where I met you.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. Back when we were around too, and it was mad funny because he would bring you up as like a ghost because you wouldn't come a lot to round two, but he would always just was like, "Yo, Sam, Death Club, blah blah blah." Like,
yeah.
so how did when did you? Because I knew you like loved drawing at a young age.
Mm-hmm.
So when did you have the idea of like, hey, I'm gonna start a brand with this?
Whew. On my way here, I was like, man, this interview can go so many directions, but it really all started with my love from streetwear and sneakers. All my life, I've always been that person, oh, I could do that too. Or how can I do that?
Yeah.
Like if I see someone, even of color, or, even white, Latino, Asian, whatever, I've always had the mindset if they can do it, I probably can too, and all of that kind of started in middle school. I wasn't really, I really didn't start drawing for like my t-shirts until 2020. Before it was all graphic design, typography, like just how to make 6 shirts with like logos. I wasn't doing crazy graphics until like 4 years ago.
Yeah.
Just looking at all the other brands like Diamond, the Hundreds. I mean, Bobby can draw, so that was also like what influenced me too. It was like, hey, if he can draw and, so it was just reverse engineering everything and just seeing how other, brand owners started. I've always, everything works, hand in hand, everything ties together, sneakers, clothes, you're mixing colors together, whether it's with t-shirts or shoes. And I had a love for all of that. So I would just do a lot of research before social media, just do the footwork. When I was going to school for business and then fashion and then graphic design, and then kind of just worked on honing in my skills and just try to figure out how to make just fire t-shirts, So, yeah.
And then so at what age were you like, all right, I'm gonna start Death Club?
So, Death Club started in 2017, I believe. I think I've been in business for about 7 years now. I was at Santa Monica College. I finished my football season. School I was just at a point where I was like, man, I'm tired of this. Because another thing, too, I was really going to school, I feel, for, like, my mom. And I got to a point where I was like, I got to live for myself, I realized I don't really need a degree to start a business, and I don't really need a degree for fashion either, So my mom gave me a choice. She was like, hey, like, you either be a student or you work if you want to live under this roof. And I was just like, well, I'll just work.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I took everything I learned from business. I was in business one. I took, econ classes, finance, fashion classes. My final was on Virgil. This is back in 2015. And then, Death Club, I really just thought the name was cool. I never really been a fan of, oh, this is the story and this is how this happened. People are like, oh, what's Death Club? Like, what is it about? They think it's some like evil thing. I was like, look, bro, I just thought the name was cool.
Yeah.
And, it stuck.
Yeah.
People was like, oh, how long can you have a brand like that for? It just seems depressing and this and that. And I'm just like, yeah, man, whatever. The name is cool. People like it. People are calling me like an edgelord in the beginning. And I'm just like, you don't really know me.
Yeah.
No one really, knows me. And it's funny because, if you really know me, I'm like a troll. So it's like if you see me and meet me in person and then you look at the brand, it's just like it doesn't really like match, and I think that's the funniest thing ever. But that's just my eye on, design and what works, what will sell, But yeah, 2017, excuse me, is when I started, Death Club, when I kind of dropped out of school. But if we take it further back in high school, I started a brand called Verse Life. Well, really it was Verse Magazine. I wanted to, again, if they can do it, why can't I do it? I was always on Hypebeast, every publication you can think of online at the time. And, I tried to figure out how can I make my own Hypebeast. And I went to Inglewood High for summer school, and I would just sit in a math class, and I was just like, man, this sucks. Like, I really hate school. Like, I do not like school, And it's not even just school. I just hate taking tests. I just got to a point, you take so many tests, and sometimes the right answer is not right. It's the wrong answer. It's the right answer, but I didn't want that answer. And I was just like, yeah, that's confusing, man. I ain't got time for this, But I started, Verse Magazine, and I was finding local rappers in the city, interviewing them, emailing like a bunch of people, learning new artists, rappers at the time. Like, I felt like I was just up on everything, even like I know you guys worked at Riff. It's so funny. I don't even remember you guys at Riff. I only remember, Sobe, but back in whatever year Riff Dose opened up, I remember I went to that party.
2013, I believe.
Was it 2013?
Yeah, it was 2013.
2013.
Yeah, man, I'm in high school. What am I doing going to a Riff party? A bunch of alcohol and chicks, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? I caught the bus to get there.
Oh, shit.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I only went to just try to do an article on it, because it's just part of this, streetwear and sneaker space, and then after that, 2013 is when I graduated high school, and I just wanted to pursue sports. It was either basketball or football. So I stopped skating, stopped drawing, stopped anything fashion related. But I was still,
into it.
I was still into it. I still needed some fresh kicks.
Yeah.
At the time, to even get money, I was reselling at the time. And then around 2015, I started working at Nike. But yeah, before Death Club, high school is really when I started, having an interest in starting a brand, So yeah.
Yeah, and then so you started it. You went from the magazine, then starting Death Club, and I clearly remember when we would be at round 2, Jason would always come in, and he would always literally say, "Yo, man, my homie started this brand. He's just like, and it started doing really well."
Yeah.
So what was like a tea that you were like, all right, this is like the one?
Ooh, it was bad to the bone, man. It was during the pandemic. Yeah, I was just dropping stuff like crazy. Even when I first started, I was like, oh, I'm gonna be like Supreme. I'll drop every Thursday or every Friday, and then I just realized, man, that is not possible.
Yeah.
That is not possible. Even when I was working 2 jobs, working at Amazon and Nike, and that's how I was financing the brand at the time.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, this isn't working, because then you just learn things, about screen print shops and how they operate, and, but fast forward to 2020 is when I started doing like bootleg Marvel stuff. And what I'm about to tell you guys, I don't know, it's a little unheard of, but so the way I did the marketing with my brand is not really the traditional route, because a lot of people was just like, yo, who who is this guy? How is he like? He's moving units, but I don't really see no, I don't do interviews. You've never seen me on Hypebeast or anything. I have no cosigns, no celebrities wearing my stuff, nothing. So, and I'm gonna get to the point where the T-shirt was like, "Yo, this is it." Actually, it wasn't Bad to the Bone. I'm lying. No, it was a Kanye West tee I did. Yeah, there was a time when Kanye was like tripping, like, bro. And I photoshopped a shirt of Kanye and a Grim Reaper, and I put a quote at the bottom of it. And I think it says something like something about dying, but it's just something that like dies like within. Man, I forgot the quote, man. But this ties back into my marketing. There was a time where I was sitting on my couch like, man, I haven't sold a T-shirt in like 6 months. My brand wasn't doing anything. This is back 2017, 2018. And, one day someone DM'd me. They were like, hey, bro, like, your brand is cool. If you give me $20, I'll shout you out or something. And I'm like, all right, whatever, bro.
Yeah.
So then I paid him like $20. And then one day I started getting like orders. And I was just like, I wonder if it's from this page, So then after that, another page hit me up and another page hit me up. Like, I was like, I just trying to get my money at this point. But it was working, though. So then my strategy was just like, okay, let me find all these fit pages, like a Cardi fit page, whatever was the hottest rapper at the time.
Yeah.
There was some type of fit page, whatever this person was wearing, whatever. I mean, I would Photoshop Playboy Cardi with a white tee and it'll say Death Club on there. And people would think Cardi was wearing my shirt. Even when I was working, and they go, yo, I heard Cardi's wearing your style. Like, yo, bro, get on my face, bro. I only work here every 2 weeks. Like, don't be all hyped now. Y'all don't even pay me enough.
Yeah.
Nike was paying me $36 every 2 weeks at 21 years old. So,
Sheesh.
yeah. So that's what I thought was the move, man. Just finding these pages. There was a streetwear page. There was just so many pages. And then it got to a point where I would have like a criteria. First it was like, okay, 10, 20,000, cool. But then it was just like, all right, well, if you don't have 100,000 followers, I'm not really going to do anything with you, because like the return is not really there. I knew how to test people. I would promote on these pages and then I'll promote on my page like later, just to see like where the sales are coming from. And then eventually I started finding more pages and more pages. Then I would hit up the big pages. So I had a relationship with Hidden New York. They would always post me. Then they got weird out of nowhere. I don't know what happened. I couldn't tell you what happened. So things started to progress rapidly when I was paying Hidden. I would pay them like weekly, bro. They were, oh, this is how much I charge for a story. This is what I charge for a post. Story, it's 24 hours. Sometimes they'll do a post for like a week. They'll delete it after a week, and then you can pay for a permanent post. And I was like, bro, I'm going to pay for a permanent post. There's probably kids that just like scrolling on your page. You look at Hidden's page, it's a mood board page. So I started finding more mood board pages. But then I was like, well, let me do like micro pages too. The 10,000s, because those are active people too. So I just had a system of pages that I was just paying all the time to promote my stuff. And then one time, Hidden stopped replying. They was like, oh, whatever. But I think they were starting their brand, so I think they were just trying to push more of their stuff. They're like, oh, we don't do advertisement anymore. Then I was like, well, you posted this. This is kind of like an advertisement. They couldn't really give me like a concrete answer, And I was kind of panicking because like, I'm like, dang, this is like the biggest page that I've ever worked with, And, I was like, man, my sales are going to go down, all of this. And then one day I was just like, man, I'm going to just hit up this page. I don't know if I want to say this page on the podcast. So I don't know. Let me see. Why not? We here. So I hit up Supreme Leaks News and I was like, yo, like, I want to, promote with you guys. And they was, oh, let's, check you out, Because I hit up Supreme League News back in like 2017, 2018, and they're like, you're not ready. Your brand's not ready. And I'm like, all right, cool. So it's 2017. It's now 2020. Around maybe June, And it was like, all right, you know, I'm working on a deal to just take a percentage or whatever of like small brands. You know, I'm trying to like do something new on my page. And he was like, but I'm going to treat you like everyone else. This is my rate, you know, that's that. And I was like, yeah, it's cool, bro. Money good. You know, they're like, you know, 1,500 for a story, 6,000 for a post.
Fuck.
And around that time, I was working on Bad to the Bone, and I was promoting that one for like a couple weeks. You know, my system was promote for 2 weeks, and then you have the drop, right? And then you just recycle everything over and over again. And I remember I told my mom, and she started an argument with me. She was like, "Oh, you got this much money just laying around?" And I was just like, "Yeah, I do actually. Like, I'm chilling, you know." And she was furious, man. That you know, I told her how much they were charging, and then I called the homie up and put him on speaker. And I said, "Yo, bro, I'm trying to promote with Supreme League News. What you think? This is what they're charging me." He was like, "Bro, do it, bro. Like, that's a no-brainer. Like, you'll get that back easy." You know, he was telling me, like, there's other brands that pay Supreme League News $20,000 a month just for promotion. And I was just like, yeah, whatever. So I hit him up. I hit them back, you know, and this is like, looking at where I first started working with pages to, like, them, it's a professional level. Because before, you'll just PayPal these people. With them, you have to send a wire. Like, they tell you, like, where to send it to, whatever. You got to put in a time slot. Like, I'm sure everyone knows about Supreme League News. They have 1 million followers, like over 1 million followers. Like, when they're posting, all that stuff is scheduled out, like, in advance. So I'm scheduling things out 2 weeks in advance, you know. So with Bad to the Bone, I was like, you know what? I'm not going to do the 6 right now, but I'll do the 1,500. So I did the 1,500. I always had a drop at 12 on Saturdays. And then I posted it. The drop happened. I'm sitting in the room with my mom. Bro, I made like 40 racks in like 15 minutes, bro.
Oh, shit.
Like,
And you were just like, holy shit, it worked. Yeah.
I was like, oh, I just hit a lick. We finna do this every week. Bro, my mom, she like couldn't understand it. You're talking about a woman that's worked a job for like 36 years and stuck with one salary. You know, I've made more than her whole salary in 15 minutes. It's hard to kind of, you know, and I was just like, I couldn't believe it. And it just kept going. It didn't stop. So then I got scared. I was like, this is too much. I stopped it. I sold it out. I'm not going to be greedy. This is more than I've ever made, ever. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And that's pretty much where the trajectory happened. I mean, it's 2020, man. EDD, PPP, you know, everybody had it at that time.
You think being cooped up at home helped you out a lot too? Like, as in, like, for like the clientele?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Because I know a lot of people that, like, brands blew up during the pandemic just because I feel like people are paying attention to their phones more than ever because they're just at home chilling. Absolutely.
I mean, 2020, everyone was going crazy. You know, I know guys that was doing $1 million a month.
Yeah.
You know, just, I mean, it's not that anymore.
Yeah.
You know, but that's where everything started, you know, with that page. And, you know, ever since then, you know, we're about almost 4 years later and we're still rocking and rolling, you know? So.
And then recently you decided to, like, I don't want to say rebrand, but you took a different route that it was unexpected for like a lot of people, but for you, since you had like the love for drawing and everything, and obviously being like Stanley being one of your idols, and then also comics, you went into Blood Shadow. So when were you at home chilling and then you were just like, all right, like I'm gonna switch up?
Oh, the brand fell off.
Yeah. That's it.
Yeah.
Economy
crashed, and honestly, it was a range of a lot of things. I mean, it was unexpected for me too. I mean, I was looking at a picture. I was at Comic-Con back in 2021, just buying up a bunch of comic books, and I was like, oh, this is kind of like the start. You know, I mean, I've always been into comics. I have comics that I've had when I was a kid still, you know. I've always been into it. I mean, I even have like my own comic that I made when I was a kid, stapled together. I've been drawing skulls since I was a kid. I can't really tell you why, but it's like I have the proof. They're all signed and dated, you know, early 2000s. But there was a series of things, man. And, kind of like whoever's watching this and who wants to start a brand, I mean, my advice is like, sometimes money comes in too fast and you think you got it, and people take advantage of that. So a lot of issues I had were with screen print shops. I wasn't really overlooking invoices. I would just be like, oh, okay, I'll just,
Signing up.
yeah, because I don't like owing people, bro, because then they own you. And so it was a series of that. The economy changed. I mean, this shirt I have on, this was probably like my last big collection. So around when Bad to the Bone came out, that was just one T-shirt, bro. But it was a T-shirt, a hoodie, and shorts, but the same graphic.
Yeah.
So, and I know my screen printer was pissed, bro, because I only had to pay for a certain amount of screens. And, when you print the same graphic, the price changes.
Yeah.
My invoice for that was like $1,500, bro. So I pocketed a lot of money, bro. Like a lot of money. We're talking about between T-shirts, hoodies, and shorts. But I had so many screen printers, and over time, they just started to kind of like change up on me, bro. It was kind of weird, And when the economy slowed down, and then even social media changed, because I was paying for Supreme League News, the $1,500 for stories, and it wasn't doing anything, nothing. And I would hit him up like, hey, like, yo, what's up with your? He was like, yo, my page is kind of like whatever too. And I was like, what's going on with Instagram? And that's also why you shouldn't just focus on one platform. You should always have multiples. You gotta, syndicate. You gotta syndicate everything. Syndication is key. But yeah, the invoices was killing me. I mean, this was like my last big collection. So I started with doing like one T-shirt, but then the Silver Surfer collection was 20 different graphics, 10 mega prints. This is very expensive to make. This is a cut and sew shirt. I was like, oh man, I'm gonna just do it big. I'm not gonna drop one T-shirt anymore. And then I was just spending too much on invoices to a point it wasn't even making any sense.
Yeah.
And yeah, the economy changing up, and my overhead was just getting like ridiculous. It just wasn't making any sense. So things just got super slow. Then print shops started taking forever. It was just like a weird situation. And, it's funny, 2 years later, like, one of my boys who runs a brand too, a really big brand, we had, I mean, I don't want to call it beef, but whatever. Like, bro, stop talking to me, because like he was doing like DTG stuff, and I think I owed him like a band or something. And then I was just doing so much, but then I was like, man, I've sent him so much business. Like, I thought, don't worry about it. And, bro just got fed up with me, and I was just, all right, whatever. So I seen him recently. I was like, bro, did you block me, bro? I was like, bro, you love me, bro. Stop being weird. Like, we started the brand like at the same time. Like, stop being weird. And the screen printer we were working with at the time, he was like, yeah, bro, like, the person that I warned him about stole $60K from him. And I was just like, I mean, I don't want to know how much I lost, but, I'm heartbroken to hear that. Like, I warned you, bro. Like, watch out for this dude. Because you get to a point, I don't want to sound like I'm pocket watching, but it's just like, I feel like I'm taking care of like other people's life. Because you shouldn't be going to Mexico every single time that you print my shirts, bro. You shouldn't have a crazy new whip. Like, just things just started to change. And I'm just like, let me go back and just like look at these invoices. Then I would just say, hey, can you send me a price sheet? Dude wouldn't send me a price sheet for like 3 months, bro. I can go through the text. I've asked like a million times, like, just annoying. Can you send me a price sheet? Can you send me a price sheet? And then I was like, bro, we can't work together no more, because I don't know what I'm paying for. It's just, yeah, things just got ridiculous. So, I mean, for me, to anyone that's listening, just pay attention to, what you're spending on. Like, everything should be itemized. You need to know down to the dollar what you're paying for. There's so many Disneylands out there, and that's $1 billion company, but they know if they got to drop 10 cents on a pen at a gift shop. You know, you got to be as detailed as that.
No, yeah, I feel like with our printing or just even anything we do, it's pretty cool. Just because they literally have for t-shirts, they have like categories.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like, oh, this is t-shirt 1, how much it's gonna cost, but they have it like obviously based on screens and detail. And I think their most expensive shirt, I think it's like the 3rd one, and I think it's not even that expensive, but they at least give you upfront what they're gonna charge you and everything broken down, and the invoice always comes in, and it's always, sometimes I'll look at it and I'm like, fuck, but then I'll actually look at the graphic and be like, okay, I get it, you know, it's a fucking complex graphic. But I think that's one thing that's also like, this is a big factory, and they kind of have I would say the manpower for it compared to like a screen printer that's usually one guy. So I think I've noticed that because I've gone through like, try to give business to like my homies that have screen print shops, and I'll literally be like, yo, this shit doesn't make sense. Like, it's expensive. But then I'll actually just like sit down and think about it. I'm like, it's you and your brother and 2 people screen printing. So I get it, because you got to pay them, blah, blah, blah. But then when you go to like a big factory, it's still done in LA, but they have the manpower for it. You see why they go so low. And for them, it's a lot easier because they have different machines.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of like in the situation I'm in right now, like with printing comics, you know, the person that I'm working with right now, the price doesn't really make sense anymore. You know, they're a small shop. Like, I like to give business to the little guys, you know, like I'm a little guy too, you know, mom and pop shops, but you know, the way the situation worked out between us, you know, it was, you know, only God can orchestrate that. But now I'm at a point where it's just like, you know, I'm doing a lot more in volume, so I would need like a factory to do this stuff, you know. And even with screen print, you can compare, like, if I walk into a screen print shop and you don't have like a receptionist or like an office area or anything like that, different divisions, different departments, I don't think, you know, we can work. Even just looking at how many print heads you have, you know, like how many colors can you do? What's the max colors can you do? You know, what's the max height you can print on? You know, what M&R machine are you working with? You got a Challenger 2, you got Chameleons. Like, what do you have? Like, we're talking about 7 years that I've been in business, you know. They'll test you to see if you're a scrub or not. And a lot of times I was a scrub in the game, but I don't mind failing, but I don't want to pay for it though.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So, but to circle back to, you know, comics, I felt like it was kind of like my not last hope, but I don't know. I just felt like I'm an artist. I can figure something out, you know. I don't have any investors or anything where I got to pay back and I got to file for bankruptcy. You know, most people, when you see brands kind of like just closing up shop, a lot of times, you know, they got to pay these investors back. You know, I'm still self-funded. So the day the brand dies is the day I die. You know, it's not over until you're dead. It's, you know, and also the great thing about being an underdog and also unknown too is you can make as many mistakes and fail as much as you can, because once you make it out to the end of the tunnel, no one's really gonna see that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that's the cool thing about being an underdog too, is like no one will ever see you coming. So fail as much as you can, you know. And even pivoting to comics, I mean, I didn't think I would be here a year later, because last month, February, you know, a year ago is when I was just, all right, you know, I'm making comics now, you know. And a year later, it's taken off just like kind of how Bad to the Bone did.
Yeah.
You know. So it's amazing. It's amazing to see. It's a beautiful thing, you know. But I think, you know, with, you know, my testimony is just never give up. No matter how, every young person that always hits me up asking, oh, you know, how do you start a brand and this, and that. Look, man, when things get hard, when things get dark, just keep walking. Just keep going. Don't stop. Don't give up. It's almost corny to say, and it's like a cliche at this point. And I don't really wish anyone to fail. You know, if you start something and you're always on the upwards trajectory, man, kudos to you, man. You know, but for anyone that's, you know, trying to go on this path and they think it's straight and not narrow, you know, just keep going. Just keep going. You know, just keep going. And that's kind of like what I'm doing with my comics. I'm not going to let the economy stop me. I'm not going to let anything stop me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that's that on that, you know.
A platform that you've utilized very well that I've noticed, and I've noticed it very different because I obviously follow you on Death Club Comics on Instagram, and then I've noticed that your interaction there is not as high as your TikTok. So how did that come about? Like, when did you start, like, oh shit, like?
Well, I already had a following on TikTok, so it's kind of cheating on a low.
Yeah.
You know, I had like 20,000 followers, I think, but it was from car stuff. So my TikTok was strictly like car stuff. So
Yeah, you did the police car stuff.
police stuff, street racing.
Let's get into that real quick. I remember you would post this, and Rob literally just asked you, like, you know more police car?
He did.
So what would you do?
I'm like, bro, that's not me no more. It's not what I would do. Again, you have to know me and you have to know my personality. Like, I'm a legit troll in real life, bro. And I was just always getting pulled over, bro. Like, no matter what, you know, they'll see a black man in an M4, you know, like, oh my God, I've never seen it before. And they'll just pull me over for the darndest things, bro. Like, the first one that got like 5 million views on TikTok, he pulled me over. He was like, yeah, you know, I'm pulling you over because of your tires. And I was like, my tires? All right. What's wrong with my tires? And then he's like, oh, you got slicks. You got slicks. And I was like, nah, bro, show me. You know, so then it went from my tire. And another thing, too, I know a lot about the law, you know, I'm black. I got to protect myself. But all tires have a DOT label on them, which makes things legal, you know. They're track tires. They're for off-road use, but they're both off-road and for the streets, you know. But it's because they look, they do look crazy, like, at night, though. Like, there's, like, just no tread. Then he was trying to say, oh, you know, your car's loud. It's backfiring. And I was like, my car is backfiring? So whenever someone says something, I'll just repeat it, just so they could hear how dumb they are. And then around that time, I had my GoPro with me, and then I was just filming the whole interaction. And then he was like, all right, you want to pop the hood? And I was just like, sure, bro. And I think it was just a whole interaction that people thought was so funny. Like, even in the comments, people were like, is this a skit? And I'm like, no, this is me. Like, this is just how I talk to people. You know, like, I have a problem with making people feel dumb. And, you know, when I look back at certain situations, I'm like, I probably shouldn't have said that. You know, like, I have a really strong personality, and a lot of people can't really handle it. So there was that one. And a lot of the videos of me getting pulled over, they're all old. So people just thought I was constantly getting pulled over. And I was just like, nah, I'm just strategically planning when to, like, post another one, whether it's replying to a comment or whatever. So then I got pulled over again for my car backfiring, and then my tires, and then no front plates. I'm like, bro, I'm not putting front plates on this car. You out of your mind. You know, if I get an Aventador or a Ferrari, I'm not putting plates on the front of it. And then the dude was, oh, you know, I'm a car guy, and, you know, I know M4s, they don't backfire. And I'm just like, you're a car guy, but you're pulling me over. You're a cop. You know, like, you're a Brian O'Connor, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and then he goes back, and then I asked his friend, I was like, oh, because I asked him, and I was like, okay, you're a car guy. What do you drive? He was like, oh, that's not important right now. And I was like, yeah, get out my face. So then the dude go back, and I asked his friend, I was like, oh, what do you drive? And then he was like, oh, a Scion. And I was like, oh. He was like, yeah, cars, that's just his thing. And I was like, no, it's not. Like, bro, I just want to get some tacos and go back home. Like, it's literally all I wanted. And I posted another one where the dude was just like, oh, you know, what's the penal code? And I was like, there's not really a penal code. There's a California vehicle code, but, you know. And then he was like, oh, you know what? I just pulled you over because I was jealous. And I was like, wow, did you really admit that? Like, I'm recording right now. And like, he literally admitted that he was jealous of me driving the car. And what did I say? I said jealousy is just, what did I say? I kind of like flipped it, just changing the word jealousy. Is just, you're just inspired. You know, I think that was probably like the coolest interaction. But all of the other ones just been ridiculous. But because of my response, people think it's so funny, and they're thinking they're skits. But then I got to a point I was like, well, I'm not really making any money off of this. Like, yeah, you know, it's cool. Oh yeah, I get 5 million views on TikTok. I got 20,000 followers. But man, where's the money at? You know. So then I was posting my car, and then my videos would get flagged for street racing because it was deemed unsafe. So, you know, I just completely stopped doing all the car content. And then I was like, well, let me just shift the focus to my brand then, you know. So I was doing that, and then that wasn't really working. And then one day, it was July. Things always happen in the summertime where I just like make a crazy amount of money. It was July, and then TikTok offered me like, hey, like, you know, you can have a shop platform. And I was like, oh man, this finna be nasty. Don't give me no shop platform. Cause man, people are making money off of that app, bro.
Like the pickle crew neck?
Bro.
Bro, that's like the biggest one.
It is. No one will beat her. And it's just like looking at that changed my whole perspective on everything. It's like it doesn't matter how long you've been in business for, nothing, bro. This lady sold, this is back in like September, October when I checked her sales. Because, you know, on TikTok, it tells you how many units you push. She sold 120,000 sweaters back in like September. I don't know what the number is now, but it's just like, I don't know anyone in this industry that's pushing those numbers. And she's selling them for $60. And she's not even screen printing them. She's transferring them and heat pressing it. And I'm just like, here I am killing myself trying to make the hottest graphic. Not a groundbreaking design. I'm trying to make earth-shattering designs. And here this lady goes putting pickles on a sweater. And she's making like 2-3 million off of this, bro. Like in the middle of nowhere. And I'm just like, yeah, I need to change my whole approach and perspective on everything. Like just being cool don't matter anymore. Like being the hottest brand. Like, man, look, there's a 50-year-old lady in the middle of Minnesota selling pickle sweaters. And she's making paper. All off TikTok Shop. All off a TikTok Shop. And, you know, I was okay, well, I'm going to just push my comics on here, you know, because I sold my comics. I started the company, well, not company, but.
Like rebranding? Yeah,
rebranding or just division, just a different division of Death Club. And, I mean, everything's going to be Death Club. Death Club Comics, Death Club Toys, Death Club Entertainment. It's everything. And, you know, you bought my books, you know, all the homies, you know, bought my books, and I sold some to my brand. And, you know, people are like, oh, we don't want comics. We want T-shirts, bro. You know, and I was trying to get out of, like, the bootlegs for a long time. Like, if people don't know, like, I was doing, like, a lot of bootleg stuff, like T-shirts. And I was just like, man, this is cool, but it's not really my work. You know, like, I want something that I can say, like, I did that. Like, that's me. You know, all of my stuff is just rip off of old stuff from the 80s or 90s, like this Galactus and Silver Surfer. You know, I drew it from an old vintage shirt, but, you know, I would just put the skull on top of everything and, like, just do that slight change for legal purposes. You know, look up the Fair Use Act. You can change things. People wonder how the mouse hasn't gotten me. They will never get me. People was always wishing, like, lawsuits on me, bro. It's kind of weird. But then there started to be, like, this, like, blow up of other brands doing, like, vintage stuff, too. The only reason why I did it, and what was also my claim to fame too, was like the vintage pages started hating on me. Cause I was like, I'm not finna spend $400 on a shirt that got pitch stains on there, bro. I can make it myself, remake it, redraw it, and sell it for the low, you know? Did that, and then I was doing that for like 3 years. You know, now they're popping up every single day, and I was just like, man, I did that 4 years ago, bro. Like, I made what I was supposed to make off of that, you know? That chapter is done. Now there's this, you know. And so I wasn't selling any of my books for a while, and I'm just like, man, what am I doing? And then TikTok Shop came around, and me and the homie had a plan, because we were seeing videos, people would like make fun of you for only selling one. And the homie put, LOL, you only sold one comic book. And then I replied to the comment with a video. And I was just like, oh, you know, we sold one comic. And then I I made a video of me shipping it out and everything like that. And everybody started getting on the homie because he's white. So he was, oh, how dare you hate on a black business, this and that. And then I'm sitting there, we just laughing because they don't know, like, we put this whole scheme together. That video got 1.2 million views on TikTok. And I think that weekend I probably sold around 300 books. And I was like, oh, it's happening again. And, you know, because I've been in a situation where I've seen a bunch of orders come in, I don't have that, like, what is it? It doesn't scare me. I was like, okay, I've seen this before, you know. Like, the money is cool, but, like, let's get the work done, you know. The honeymoon phase of getting money. You know, you never got money before, and then you see 40,000 in your account. You know, you're like, oh my God. Now I was like, okay, I've seen this before. This is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna make moves. You know, in my parents' shop, like, yo, I need 300 books. Yada yada yada. Got it done. Shipped it out. Then I hit a dead period again because I was like, okay, people are liking the comics. Let me try to bring my brand back into this. You know, try to sell T-shirts again. Was not working. You know, I just feel like God was like, bro, you're done with T-shirts, bro. Stop. Like, just push the books. You know, and around that time, things were still slow. And then around October, so this was August when, like, my TikTok shop kind of, like, blew up a bit. And around October, I was like, man, I need some money. And in the back of my head was, well, if you want money, just finish the next book. Like, just complete the book. And I was like, all right. It was hard. Like, making comics is very hard. It's very difficult. Like, this is like a challenge. Sometimes I'm like, man, why am I doing this? Like, but then it's so rewarding, and it's honestly making me happier. Like, a lot of people kind of, like, are pointing out, like, man, like, I can tell you're a lot more happier, like, making comics than you were, like, with clothes. But it's just like with clothes, like, I was just going through so much. And it's just like with this, like, I'm at peace. You know, I'm going at my own pace. I don't have to worry about like a drop schedule, you know. But I mean, now I'm still trying to push myself to do like a book a month or every 2 months just to keep like the consistency going, because that's always been like my key to success is consistency. You know, just I'm gonna just keep going. If it's not working, I don't care. I'm gonna keep doing it. I'm gonna just keep going. And I kept telling myself, like, yo, just finish the book. If you want the money, finish the book. Finish the book. I only sold one again. And I was like, perfect. I'm finna do it again. I only sold one book. So made a video on that. And then the person did a review. Perfect. Doing a video on that. Then, you know, it got to a point too where it's just like, I was almost in a situation where I was like living paycheck to paycheck. There's brands that live drop to drop. You know, some of them won't tell you that, but it's the truth. You know, some people are one drop away from just, it's completely over. Like, you know, and, you know, I have a baby girl on the way, and I'm just like, man, I cannot continue to be in this situation when she comes, you know. It's like, you know, my baby girl, she gonna have it all, man. So it's like, I had to just, you know, they say, you know, pull yourself by your bootstraps, man. And then I changed everything because my content, like, I was getting stuck in those 200 jail views or whatever. And I was like, I got to change my content up. So I bought like one of these boomsticks with a ring light to change the lighting. I have another phone that has a better quality, and I would just shoot in cinematic mode. I got the shades, the hat, and then every video you see my big face, and I'll say, we have sold 10,000 copies of Blood Shadow #1, you know. And it started from there. It started from 1 to 20 to 300. It just kept going. And every video, we have sold. And one day I posted a video, and then, you know, my girl's, oh, I'm gonna cook dinner tonight. I'm like, all right, yeah, cool, whatever. I go over there, and, you know, I put my phone on like do not disturb, and, you know, I'm eating dinner, we watching TV, Netflix, and then I happen to check my phone. I took it off do not disturb, and I was like, yo, what is going on? It blew up again. Way crazier than before, though. Like, it just went crazy. And so with TikTok Shop, it's a pretty crazy platform. And I was still like in a probation period because I was a new seller. Like, you had to hit certain milestones to like unlock certain things. And at the time, they were limiting me to 200 orders per day. I was meeting that every single day, you know. So like my book would sell out every single day, and at midnight it would reset, and my book would sell out at 2 a.m. Like I'm sleeping and my book is selling out. Like I couldn't even make videos anymore because I realized I only get engagement if I put a TikTok shop link. That's the only way my videos getting pushed. And you know, that's things that I just realized. I'm like, okay, Blood Shadow #1 was a hot selling product. I'm gonna just keep pushing that, pushing that. #2 is out, sure, we'll push it a little later. So it went from 300 to just, you know, I mean, now I'm in the thousands, man. Like I'm close to 4,000 copies sold for Blood Shadow #1, and that was a year ago. I dropped the book. That's unheard of. That's unheard of. No one has ever done that. And I keep making the same videos. We have sold 3,000 copies, 3,500 copies, 4,000 copies. You know, and I have not once told people what the book is about. People are just going off of, wow, the cover's fire. You know, like I'm selling the cover. That's how you sell comic books. It's not about, I mean, it is about, you know, what the story is about and the art, whatever. But because I'm the artist, the writer, colorist, the editor, the letterer. So what people don't know about comics, you know, I know this space is, you know, street wearing sneakers and comics is a little different, but everything still ties together. I mean, you know, Babe done a Marvel collabs, you know, comics still go hand in hand with everything. You have 10 people to a comic book. So you have someone that will pencil your stuff, then you have your inker, and you got to get someone to color it, then you have to get someone to letter it from your script. You know, you have like a whole team of people. I don't have any of that. It's all me. And I think people are finding that so impressive. And they're just like, how? Like, what do you? I just sit my ass down and I get to work. Like, again, I don't like relying on people. And yeah, I just don't like relying on people. That's why I've always designed my own stuff. Because people will hire a designer, graphic designer, and you got to wait on them to finish your graphic. I got to wait on me. You know, it's really all on me. So, and also like my tactics for business is how do I disrupt the market? And like with my brand, when I was doing my clothes, I disrupted the vintage market. I crumbled them, bro, like ridiculously. Like they couldn't sell their shirts no more. You know, one dude was selling a shirt for 30,000, and that's when I started doing mega prints. And I was like, "Oh, you selling that for 30,000? Well, I'm gonna sell it for $80." And people bought it off me for $80. A lot of people, you know, I mean, that's how me and Lon became cool. I don't know how many mega prints he owned. You know, bro was just buying all my stuff. And so now it's just like, okay, well, how do I disrupt the comic book market? You know, I do everything. You guys have to wait on this, that, you know, they use Kickstarter. I didn't even know what Kickstarter was. And that's basically like a crowdfunding website for creators. You know, all the big companies, I mean, everyone uses it. You know, Keanu Reeves used it for his comic book. I mean, they did like 500,000 in like 15 minutes, you know. But these are like, you know, the bigger guys. But it's just like me, I'd rather finance everything. You know, I'm not trying to go out, you know, begging and stuff. So yeah, no Kickstarter, none of that. You know, I financed everything on my own. Like I do everything on my own, you know, and people are just really gravitating towards that. And with TikTok, things are so personal. Like they feel like, wow, I can't really talk to Todd McFarlane that creates Spawn, but I can talk to Sam that created Blood Shadow, you know. And it's the beginning stages. I always think it's so cool to be around the beginning stages of someone trying to do something, you know. So yeah, TikTok is still booming, man, like ridiculously. So yeah.
Yeah, I think that's like a big advantage for like social media platforms that is different than TikTok because, for example, imagine I always think about it on Instagram, you just reply to comments and that's it. Like, like maybe reply. Not a lot of people do, but when you go to TikTok, you can make a whole video responding to them. And like I said in the podcast last week to this one, it's like I think with us, when people reach out to us, it's because they're getting a actual interaction with the people that own the store compared to like when you DM a stock or a goat, you're going to get an automated message that you're just talking to a robot and you're getting mad because that message is coming back 5 days later. And with us, it's instantly. Yeah. And I think that's what I like about TikTok is that you can interact with people that want to interact with you.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, you obviously you have your trolls and all that stuff, but it's just like, again,
They're here now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're
They're
one of the funniest things is somebody literally to me recently commented like, you should start going to the gym, and I was just like, bro, you don't know me, I go to the gym almost on a daily basis, you know.
man.
But you take the good with the bad. But I think that is why TikTok I think is pretty cool, because
Mm-hmm.
it's like you're hand in hand with your customer base, or in reality, like you're just hand in hand with a different person. You don't really see them as a customer, you just see them like as a homie pretty much.
Yeah, and that's what they talk about, building a community. They always say, community is important. Once you have a community, man, you can do a lot with that. You grow with them, they grow with you.
Yeah, and you bring them along for your journey, and it's just like they feel a part of something. And I think that is, I think what a lot of people don't see is just like once you like let go of your community, or you think you're too good for your community, it's like they see almost like the real you. But if you just bring them along and make them feel like, for example, for us, some people are scared to go to shops because they're intimidated because, oh, these are the cool guys, blah, blah, blah. But in reality, bro, I'm just like your average Joe that's selling sneakers. Yeah. And when they find that out and they feel comfortable coming in compared to like other stores, they appreciate that a little more.
Yeah. I mean, that's another thing you have to understand too. Personality plays a huge role in things. A lot of people are very shy, and they just want to be acknowledged, you know. And it's like when you kind of like give them that home feeling, it's like, wow, like I feel seen.
Yeah. That happens a lot here with like even just complimenting their shoes. You could tell their face expression.
Yeah.
It like blows up because in reality, they're like, oh, I'm gonna go to Syndicate, then Melrose, blah, blah, blah. But they do get ready for that moment. They're like, all right, cool, I'm gonna wear these shoes, I'm gonna wear this outfit. And let's say they come in here, no compliment. They go to Melrose, no compliment. In reality, ego is a big part of life. So they're gonna go home and be like, damn, like nobody noticed what I was wearing today or what I. Yeah. But if you just compliment their shoes or like, nice tee, man, blah, 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 that goes a long way more than just a head nod.
It actually does, man. You never know, what people are going through. And you just making a comment like, yo, I like your kicks. You just gave that person another day, And that's the same thing like with comics, if you're going through something, dive into another world, So, yeah, that's all people just want to be a part of something. They want to be in the conversation. That's why they join book clubs, run clubs. I'm into sneakers. I'll go to a sneaker con or a Comic Con. Syndicate, you guys are popping on YouTube and social media. I'm not feeling well, but I know if I go here, I'm going to feel great.
Yeah, it's like a clubhouse.
Yeah, exactly. So that's very important, even just on a mental health standpoint. Like you need to be surrounded by, other people. Like you have to. You have to. It doesn't matter what it is, whether you feel alone. There are people that are just like you and probably going through the same thing too. And when you talk things out, things change. They start to feel better. So, yeah.
So what's you Blood Shuttle? You already did 2, but you said you're not working on what's next. Like what's?
I mean, I'm working on number 3, bro. But it's like I'm in a weird situation right now, man. Because like I've sold so many books, and I was signing a bunch of books, but now I'm done signing, and a lot of people are pissed, bro. Like people in my comments like, oh, you said you're signing every book and this and that. So I had to like make a response. Now I went from we have sold this many comments. I'm like, we have received 14 negative comments, and that'll be like my hook. And then so you getting put on blast. Like if you're gonna put something, like I'm putting you on blast for everyone to see, and I'll do like a whole video, and then I put, because the video that got, all of my videos are hidden, like they're over like the 100,000 views. Like one of them about to hit 1 million again. And I said, yeah, someone was like, hey, are you signing every book? This was back in January. And I was like, yeah, bro, I'm signing every book, yada, yada, yada. And I'm not thinking I'm about to sell 3,000 books, bro. Like, this is when I had 300 books sold. Like, I was getting like 20 orders a day. Like, yeah, I'm gonna sign your book, bro. Like, don't nobody know who I am. But at the end of the video, I said, but look, once I get to, once we hit them thousands, it's gonna be a little different. I can't sign too many books, And then people in the comments, like, oh, don't sign so many books. Like, it's gonna lose value. Like, I'm like, bro, relax, bro. Like, I feel you. So I have both people complaining that I'm signing too much, and I got people complaining that I'm not signing at all. And I'm like, hey, man, look, it takes a long time for me to sign a book because I'm using a paint marker, and paint marker takes a long time to dry. And it's just like, bro, I've already signed like 2,000-3,000 like copies of my books with both, 1 and 2. If I put 3,000, 4,000 people in front of me and I got you 20 people crying that you didn't get it signed, bro, I'm not paying attention to y'all, bro. Like, I just can't. And it's just like, I need you to understand that I'm still new and there will be multiple opportunities to get a signed copy of my book. Like, I still haven't done book signings. I haven't, traveled to different cons, like, just relax. And I told him, like, I hope you're not just buying my book for a signature. Like, people like give me negative reviews. I'm like, yo, don't give me a negative review because that's just gonna hurt my store. Like, unless like you hated the book, it came damaged or whatever, don't put a negative comment because I didn't sign your book. Like, you just didn't watch the video. Like, you're late.
Yeah.
Like, the book dropped 3 months ago. You're 3 months late. Like, you're not finna just go to a sneaker shop like, yo, the Concords came out in December, bro. It's now April. Like, where's my shoe at? And like, bro, what are you talking about, bro? Like,
yeah, your packaging was really nice for the first run, but I got it from the website, not from the TikTok shop.
Yeah, you got the original, like the first 50 card stock. So that's another thing too, like working with different print shops. I didn't know what I was doing. Like, I didn't know there was a certain paper weight. I'm like, yo, you just printed on paper. Even like with my print shop where he's charging me, like, I'm like, bro, I don't think he's like, oh, I bought 21 cases. I'm like, well, how much you getting paper for? Like, there's no way paper costs that much money because, I'm starting to get complaints. People are like, oh, why are you selling comic books for $12? Marvel and DC sells them for $3, $4. Well, guess what? I'm not Marvel and DC, brother. I'm not a multi-billion-dollar company. Like, what are we talking about, man? Like, let's be real, man. You talking about 10 people to a comic book. Most people charge $80 just to pencil your book.
Yeah.
How many pages do you have? I'm doing 24 pages. Let's do 80 times 24. Still got the inker. He's charging 60. 80 and 60. Then the colorist, another 60. You already down bread. Now, what are we paying for production? You know what I'm saying? It's just like Marvel and DC, they're printing on cheap quality paper and they're printing hundreds of thousands of books. Yep. But it's like I found a company that, they got $1 million machines, but it's even learning the difference between digital printing and offset printing. Like, I'm still learning. The book's always gonna be $12 though. I'm like Nip, bro, $100 mixtape, bro. Like,
See,
so.
But I get it because to me, when I get a comic book from you or Marvel, I'm like, oh, it's a comic book. Mm-hmm. To me, this is a person that's just like, all right, I'm gonna support my homie, but then I also do like comics as well. But to me, if I get this or I get a Marvel, and that's you understanding your craft, being like, oh, this is different. But to me, the consumer, I'm like, oh, it's a comic book.
Right. Yeah. People just have to adapt to the times. Things are different. Yeah, those were $4 or $5 books, and I'm not trying to be a part of that starving artist stigma. Like, no, I'm here to make money, bro. Like, how else can I create another book or expand the brand? Like, this next go round, I'm just trying to reinvest. Okay, people love my book. Let me show you guys what I can really make. Like, I'm designing toys right now. Like, I'm trying to get this Target and Walmart money. I'm, again, disrupting the market. Like, how can I just make it unfair? Like, you talking about, like, fuck you money? Like, yo, he makes his own books. He got his own toys. He's trying to get into TV. He's trying to make movies. I've already sold over 5,000 copies of my book in the span of a year. Some people don't do that in 5 years. We're talking about comic books, though. Like, people always say, oh, if you get into comic books, like, you're going to fail. I'm like, bro, I'm not listening to you. Like I was even in like comic book support groups, just learning how to create comics. And a lot of them were just like, yeah, you know, if you're in this industry to make money, you know, you're in the wrong industry. And I'm like, man, I'm in the wrong group, bro. What are you talking about? Man, I'm out of here. You're not going to see me again. And it's like they all follow me on Instagram. And it's like I'm showing what I'm doing, like how many books I'm pushing out. Like we really getting to it, you know. And that's another thing, too. I'm trying to figure out the success I have with comics. Is it because of the 7 years that I've been in business and my experience, or, you know, like what is it as far as like business mindset goes?
It's a little bit of everything. I think so. I think it's like you have a following with people that are like into Marvel because you're doing like essentially the bootlegs.
Yeah.
But then now it's a different thing because it's like for us too, we have that too where we're like, we have 10, 15 years experience in the sneaker industry. So it's not just like, oh, we just came out of nowhere and we're essentially the new, like a new cool store. It's just like, no, it's like, oh, these guys have been doing it for years and they trust us.
Yeah.
And even with you, with like getting everything out and being so in the public eye, I would say, like people see you, people know you. Like even me, like I'll go look at your page and I'll just be like, bro, this shit's hilarious. Like to me, it's funny because I know you and you're just responding to everybody. And again, everybody feels, you're making your clientele feel seen. And I think that's like a big key.
Yeah, that's important, man. You know, my thing is just like, okay, how can I do what the big time guys did and just be more personal, you know? But yeah, I'm just, you know, I'm at a point, it's like, okay, you know, like Todd McFarlane is someone that I look up to, you know, because he said screw Marvel, because Marvel wasn't trying to pay. They was making millions off of these books, but the artist wasn't getting anything. So Todd was like, man, I'm going to start my own company. So with me, it's like, okay, well, how can I be next to Marvel, DC, Image, Death Club? Black-owned comic book company, too, you know. And I really got the inspiration. I was recently watching a Tyler Perry documentary, and I'm like, man, how can I do what he did? Like, bro did everything on his own.
Yeah.
Like, everything on his own. Like, he shot all of his shows and then sold it to TBS. Like, yo, the show is already shot. They was like, what? You know, like, even, like, recently, like, y'all know me. I know I'm trying to get this Porsche so bad, but it's just like, man, I want to hold off a little longer. You know, Tyler Perry talking about he want to spend $800 million on more studios. Man, I need to drop bread too on something, you know what I'm saying? So it's just like thinking outside of the box now, you know? So yeah, how do I get to that point? Because, you know, if I want to make a movie, it's gonna cost millions. If I want to do an animated series, we're talking about $1 to $2 million per episode.
Yeah, that's like a whole nother risk that you don't know for sure it's gonna like hit.
Oh, I know it's gonna hit. Yeah. That's a guarantee. As soon as I go to the studio, all right, tell me about Blood Shadow. Money, bro. Dollar signs, bro. Don't worry about anything. Just know we selling. As soon as we get a preview out, man, the way social media is now, TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter. Oh, what is this? Blood Shadow's already sold in the stores, buddy. Cool. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, you gonna act like you was a fan. You weren't really a fan. But everything's already gonna be ready. You know, I'm trying to make sure everything is set before they say you sell your soul to Hollywood, which is what I'm not trying to do. I'm trying to do ownership on everything. You know, yeah, I have an idea, but I have a book, I have a table, I have a rug, I have a pillow, we have merchandise. So when you ask me what Blood Shadow is about, man, it's about money. And I know you studios want to make money. So
if you were to do, like, let's say along the line of live action, what actor would you want?
Idris Elba. I already thought of it.
Yeah.
Y'all thought Keanu Reeves was lit with John Wick, man. Look, Idris Elba gonna set the block on fire, boy. Man, what we talking about? Yeah.
Yep. I think that's a great way to end it.
For sure.
Idris Elba as Bless.
Remember this. I'm telling you, when it happens, I'm gonna post this. Hey, I said it. Everything I say goes, man. I manifest everything.
There you go.
Fire.